Hey, it's Jay. Welcome back to Limited Living, a series on my channel where every day of June I upload a video for Pride Month. Today I'm going to be talking about books with non-cis characters. Most of them are main characters, but a couple of them are love interests, so let's get into it. And make sure to tell me down in the comments what some of your favorite books with non-cis characters are, because I would love to add them to my LGBTQ+ shelf on Goodreads. I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver includes a non-binary main character who comes out to their parents and is basically evicted, kicked out because their parents don't accept them, and so they move in with their sister and her husband. And the book basically just talks about their senior year and adjusting to living with his sister, and meeting this guy Nathan, who becomes a love interest, and it's just really anxiety-inducing in his own voices, so you can know that the representation is sound. If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo is another Own Voices novel about a trans girl. The author's a trans woman and the model on the cover is a trans girl, which I think is really cool. This is about a girl who was outed at her school somewhere in the deep south, I think Georgia, and so she moves up to her dad's place in Tennessee to finish on a senior high school, and she meets a couple people. She starts to fall in love with this guy, but she's worried that she's eventually gonna have to come out to him and that he will dismiss her and not like her for that reason. There are a few trigger warnings for this, as well as a lot of the other books in here, so I'll put my review for it up there. The Brightsiders by Jen Wilde includes a genderqueer character that uses he/him pronouns. He is the love interest for the main character. What I love about Jen Wilde is that she has a whole bunch of different representations, and like a whole bunch in one book, not just checking off a checklist, but like it's consistent throughout her books, and even includes like characters from one book and they're being referenced in another book anyway. But this character uses, I believe there's a swimming scene off a yacht, and I believe they used a binder of some sort, or there was at least mention of his his like bikini top looked really cute or something. I don't remember. I have to reread it, but The Brightsiders and Everything by Jen Wilde is really good. Some Girls by Rory James is about a genderqueer character who is discovering their gender identity and stuff. This is a very short book. It's written in poetry form, so it takes like an hour tops to read. And what I like about this book is that it has a very supportive brother character. I don't remember exactly like how the main character thought that the parents would react, but I remember the brother character being very supportive and offering his sibling offering to buy them a binder off of Amazon because then their parents wouldn't know. And I just remember that making a big impression on me because I know that's a really important thing for a lot of other queer people. Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna McGuire includes a trans boy. He's not the main character of the first one. I want to say he's the main character of like the third one or something. For anyone who's read the Wayward Children series, please tell me down in the comments because I've only read the first one. But he is very explicitly trans, and it's mentioned a couple times, and like he kind of has this romantic relationship with the main character. He's asexual, but he like is also very comfortable in just being friends with her, and he was just so wholesome, and it was like a very casual representation, but it's also explicit, and so like that's always great. Symptoms of Being Human by Jeff Garvin includes a gender fluid character who sometimes presents more feminine, and who other days presents more masculine, and this has a lot of trigger warnings, again video up there, and they just kind of deal with discovering their gender identity and having to adjust, I guess, to how other people are reacting to that. There are a lot of tabs here, mostly because of trigger warnings, if I remember correctly. But I thought this was a really good book. It's not on Voices, but the author did do a lot of research from what I can tell and what I've seen, so I think it's pretty accurate. But again, I'm cis, so I can't say 100% for sure. But this was just a really wild ride emotionally, and I just love the main character, and I just really liked the supporting friendships. and I need to reread it honestly, but it was really good. None of the Above by I.W. Gregorio is the only book or any story at all I've read with an intersex character or someone whose genitals don't conform to society's definitions of male or female. I have heard that this is kind of transphobic because there's like a lot of internal transphobia with the character, which I can kind of see, like, to me, which makes a little bit of sense within the context of like what's happening and the main character like being given this diagnosis, I guess. To me that makes sense, but again, to I'm cis and to the people who have said it's transphobic, I think they are referencing toward the end of the book still, where she's still struggling with her being intersex and stuff, so like I get that. So if you read this for the intersex rep, then just be wary of that. If you know of any other stories that have like actual like good intersex rep, please tell me, because this is the only one I've read. And the last book I have today is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, which has an agender character. This one is kind of weird because it's a character within the story that is the book by Alice Oseman. The character that is agender is in a podcast run by one of the two main characters of the novel. I listened to the audiobook. That's the first time I consumed this book. So that was the first time I'd ever heard or seen the word agender be included in a book. And I thought that was just really cool. But the character in the podcast doesn't have like any specific gender. And the character in the novel that created that character uses like a voice modulator to change the voice per episode to episode, which I think is really cool. So again, if you know of any stories with an agender character, please tell me down in the comments. I would love to read them. So that's all I've got for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified whenever I upload. I upload every Wednesday except for June for Lavender Living for Pride Month, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching. Bye.